Taxistas. Let's talk about a new law you cannot afford to miss for Bar 2025. Republic Act 11976, or the Ease of Paying Taxes Act, or more simply, the EOPT Act. In this video, we'll break down what changed, why it matters, and how it might show up in your exam. The EOPT Act was signed into law on January 5th, 2024, and took effect 17 days later on January 22nd. And yes, that means it's squarely within the Bar 2025 coverage. It even made it to the bar syllabus for taxation, so this isn't just a current event. It's a current threat, or opportunity, depending on your mindset. This law modernizes the country's tax administration system, aiming to make it easier, faster, and less painful for taxpayers to comply. It's all about simplification and digitalization, two words we rarely associate with Philippine tax law. So, what are the key changes? Number 1. The law officially classifies taxpayers into 4 types: micro, small, medium, and large, depending on their declared annual gross sales net of value-added tax. Why does this matter? Because tax compliance requirements are now tailored based on these classifications, notably with special concessions for micro and small taxpayers, including simplified tax returns, reduced penalties, and interest rates. If not asked in taxation, it could appear in political law as a question on the validity of taxpayer classifications under the Equal Protection Clause. So be ready to recall the requisites of valid classification and apply the rational basis test. Number 2. The law adopts the file and pay anywhere system. The filing of returns and payment of taxes can be made anywhere in the Philippines, whether electronically or manually, through authorized agent banks, revenue district offices, or authorized tax software providers. What does it mean? This means that filing in a different venue is no longer considered non-filing or non-payment, so the wrong venue penalty is now a thing of the past. Number 3. The value-added tax reforms. First, the documentation rules for sales of goods and services are now harmonized. In both cases, only a sales or VAT invoice is required to declare output tax or claim input tax. No more official receipts for services. Second, all transactions subject to VAT are now uniformly based on gross sales. There's no need to distinguish gross sales from gross receipts when it comes to services or the lease of properties. This aligns VAT and income tax under the same accrual-based accounting method. Third, claims for value-added tax refund are now categorized based on risk level: low, medium, or high. Low-risk claims will no longer undergo audit and verification, unlike medium and high-risk claims. Fourth, output tax paid on a sale that eventually was not paid by the buyer may be deducted in the next quarter, provided the seller has fully paid the output tax and it wasn't yet claimed as a deduction. If the payment is later received, then the output tax is added back. Number 4. The EOPT Act repeals the rule under Section 34K of the Tax Code, which used to disallow expense deductions if taxes were not withheld. That's gone. The timing of withholding is also clearer. The obligation arises when the income becomes payable, not when it becomes due, demandable, or enforceable. That removes the guesswork and focuses on a more practical, straightforward rule. And number 5. The EOPT Act now sets a clear timeline for the BIR to act on claims for refunds of erroneously or illegally collected taxes. Before this, the tax code didn't provide a specific period for resolution. Now, the BIR has 180 days from the submission of complete documents to act on the claim. What does this mean for taxpayers? They must wait either for the BIR's decision or for the 180-day period to lapse before filing a judicial claim. This suggests a shift. The 2-year prescriptive period now applies only to the administrative claim, not both administrative and judicial stages under the old rule. Now, let's talk more about how this might show up in the bar. It can appear as a direct question, something like, what are the VAT reforms introduced by the Ease of Paying Taxes Act? But it can also be embedded in a problem-type question where your job is to spot if a taxpayer complied or didn't under the new rules, which is a more likely scenario. Let's take a few examples. ABC Corporation, registered in Quezon City, filed its VAT return and paid taxes in Makati. Under existing law, is this valid? Explain. Under the EOPT Act, the answer is yes. The law expressly allows filing of tax returns and payment of taxes with any authorized agent bank, revenue district office through revenue collection officer, or authorized tax software provider. This one's a bit tricky. XYZ Corporation filed an administrative claim for refund of erroneously paid taxes and submitted complete supporting documents on August 1st, 2024. As of November 15th, 2024, the BIR had not yet acted on the claim. Fearing the expiration of the 2-year prescriptive period, XYZ filed a petition for review at the Court of Tax Appeals on November 20th, 2024. Was XYZ's judicial claim prematurely filed? Explain. How would you answer this? Share it in the comments. Here's the key takeaway. Study this law both as a reform policy and as part of your working knowledge of the tax code. It's not just about memorizing what's new, it's about understanding how these changes fit into the bigger framework and how they affect compliance and enforcement. Bar 2025 won't just test what you memorized, it will test how well you've adapted. So study smart, stay sharp, and keep your eyes on the changes that matter. Save this for review later. Share it with a bar buddy, and as always, good luck, and see you in the next one.